Alright, hi guys. So I just finished filming my birth story for my oldest, and this one is for my second. As you can tell, dog is still crying. After I finish these, I will have to go take him out so he can have some fun and play and have probably eat some more. He likes to eat, but we have to be very careful with puppies. Okay, so let's start here. It is believed, me and my OB believe that I most likely had something called cholestasis. We don't know 100% sure, like 100%, because I didn't get tested for it when I went into labor. So like a week before I went into labor, like the week I went into labor, I had started getting really itchy. Like my hands and feet at night were just insanely itchy, and it was just getting progressively worse. It was driving me insane. I actually had planned that week, like the day I went into labor, I was actually supposed to go see my OB, but for like a few days after the itching started, I started having contractions, and it was like I straight up denied it for days. I was like, 4 days, I was like, no, there's no way. I'm on progesterone injections. I can't go into premature labor. It's impossible. I was really in denial that I was in labor. I was 35 weeks and 5 days when I finally decided, because I couldn't sleep on that final night. I was literally up the entire night. I took a shower, didn't help. I was so uncomfortable. I cleaned the entire apartment. I moved the couch, cleaned under it. I just aggressively cleaned, organized everything. Checked my hospital bag, made sure repacked it, added Josh's stuff, brought it to the door. Josh was working by this point, by the time I got to that point, and I was like, okay, yeah, we need to go to the hospital. So we grabbed my oldest, who is she was 3 at the time, and we got her in her car seat, and we drove to his mom's. We had let her know that I was in labor. I was probably in labor. He had been telling me for days that I was probably in labor. He wasn't like, oh, no, you're not. He was like, I think we need to go to the doctor. I think you're in labor. And I was like, I was the one who refused to admit it. I was like, no, there's no way. We went to we dropped her off. Oh, it was rough. Like I said, my contraction in the last video, contractions to me feel like Braxton Hicks, so no pain at all. It was just really strong pressure, but every speed bump was so uncomfortable. Whew, every pothole, speed bump, it was a nightmare. But yeah, we went to the hospital. It was the hospital I'd given birth at with my oldest. They put me into triage. They checked me in really fast, put me into triage. They checked me. I was at A1. They confirmed, they did the swab, confirmed I was in labor, hooked me up to a contraction monitor, and put me on IV fluids to try and stop it. But I was 35 weeks, almost 36. So technically, baby was developed enough that had she been, if she was born, there wasn't as much risk as if she was earlier. Like, if she hadn't ended up having, like, the small breathing issue she had, I would have been able to have her in the room with me. That's how, like, they basically said by late 35 weeks, they're technically almost completely cooked, as they like to call it, that they, unless they have, like, a breathing problem, they would be able to be, like, in the room with you and even go home with you. They wouldn't need to go to the NICU or stay there for an extended time. However, my daughter did end up having something called breathing retractions, which is where her lungs weren't developed enough, and she was struggling. I had been given a steroid injection when I got in, and they determined I was in labor. Sorry, I have a cold, so my nose is running. Oh my god. Yeah. the OB, I had a female OB. Oh, I hated her. She was a bitch. I swear, when she checked me, she did it to hurt me. Because it didn't feel, I can't really feel pain that well. I nearly flew off the bed. It was so bad. Like, Josh and another nurse had to hold me down, and I nearly kicked the OB in the face. My male OB, who delivered my oldest, when he did checks, it never hurt like that. Like, I actually genuinely think this bitch did it on purpose to hurt me. She was condescending and just fucking rude, like every female bitch of a doctor I've ever met. I hated her. She determined by that point I was 2 centimeters, so I was actively dilating, so they started the process to start my C-section. Anesthesiologist came in, tried to gaslight me. This different dude, fun fact, these two have been fired. They don't actually work for that particular hospital anymore due to, shittiness of how they are. He tried to gaslight me into saying I wasn't allergic to penicillin. I'm deathly allergic. It'll actually kill me if I even have a sniff of it. So, I went in, they wrote, I think they did, the wipe down that they need to do to, antibacterial, cleaning before the surgery. They brought me in, they had my hair put up, and, the thing in the hairnet. I had the COVID test done, and then I had a mask put on, even though I tested positive, because just in case, so I don't get sick, because obviously when you're high risk and you're in preterm labor, there's risks and stuff that you could catch an infection. So they just wanted to be extra careful, and I was perfectly fine with that. They put me on oxygen while I was in there, just to help me a little bit. Yeah, I got my spinal done. I was like, this one, I don't know why, I got really shaky. I didn't deal with this with my first, but I was super shaky after this one. My mother-in-law said I might have just gone into shock, probably just because of the stress and stuff. They did the C-section. It went by fine. Female OB was a dipshit. Said that the wall of my bladder was missing. Cleaned it with milk. Determined it was just bloody. She couldn't see it. I did, in fact, have the wall of my bladder still there. Stitched me up, and then sent me to the recovery area. And then I was told that I wasn't going to be able to have the baby in the room with me. And I was devastated. I cried a lot because I wanted her so bad to be with me. I made sure Josh was with her most of the time. There was at one point, because of the shaking, I had been squeezing my legs together, and crossing them and holding onto the bars, that it actually made my heart spike, and they thought I was going into cardiac arrest, until they put all those heart monitors on and then lifted my blanket and noticed that my feet were crossed. And they're like, oh, the second I uncrossed them and let go, my heart rate dropped to normal. And so they determined that. Because of my issues with my first, I have a special little blood bank at the hospital. So anytime I go there, they bring out this lovely little refrigerated box of my blood type, in case they need to use it for me. My hospital basically has each person blood, specifically doesn't, their blood type stocked up in case the person comes in for an emergency. It's a private hospital, so that I think that could just be why. But yeah. I didn't end up needing a blood transfusion that time. I was only in triage for like 3 hours, and then I was put in postpartum. My postpartum nurses were really great. They did the fundal massages and stuff. He's getting very emotional, so I better, so this will probably be ending soon. I was in the hospital for 4 days. They extended it because I wanted to stay there a little bit longer because of my baby being in the NICU. My milk came in, I think, the day after I had my C-section. And I produce a lot. Like, the exact words the doctors used was, there's overproducers, and then there's what I am. I produce more than what even overproducers do. That I could probably fill 2 hospitals, entire NICUs, plus 2 nurseries, and still have enough milk for my baby. And then some. I had to pump and breastfeed, because if I didn't, it would just, I would start to get sick and stuff, so I was constantly having to pump and breastfeed. So my they told me that if they were telling me in the NICU ladies were telling me oh, if you choose to breastfeed, she'll probably be able to come home sooner, because she has to we have to prove that she can, because her breathing retractions after 2 weeks had gone away, and they determined she would be able to go home, but only if she could keep up weight, which is something they always have to determine. Even for full-time babies, for full-term babies, they determine that the baby is holding up weight. They won't just send your baby home unless that happens. So they did that. I breastfed the entire time she was in the NICU, and then she kept up her weight, she was actually doing really well, never had any issues. They did the car seat test, and then she was able to come home. She had PT and OT for 5 sessions before they determined she was completely normal. They said it was unlikely for her to have developmental delays because she was only 35 weeks. She was close enough to being full term that it didn't affect her. And she's 4 now, and you wouldn't have even known that she was a preemie, so she didn't deal with any of the issues like developmental delays that her sister did. My oldest, she's in the 2nd grade right now. She's genius. She's doing really well. She's ahead of pretty much everyone in her class. We did start her in school, we did kindergarten, but she's the same age as everyone in her class, so we didn't really, we don't feel like she missed out on anything. My school was also a little more difficult on age when they allow kids in, so you had to be 5, and because she was already 2, because of when her birthday was, it was pretty much impossible to put her in whenever she would put her in pre-K, because you have to be a specific age range for that too. So we just waited until she could actually go to kindergarten, and we did that. But yeah, that's pretty much my birth story. For my youngest, she's doing great. I ended up healing really quickly. I pissed my nurses off, because I was getting in and out of bed. I was my second C-section was a friggin' breeze. I swear, I had no problems getting in and out of bed. I was just yep. I walked often. I was able to get in and out by myself after the first day. I didn't really need help walking. I didn't struggle. Obviously, I couldn't really laugh or cough without pain. That was always going to be a thing that stuck. But I didn't struggle like I did with my first. But I also had, I didn't say this in that one, but I also ended up in the ICU after I had my first. I developed pneumonia and had to go to the ICU because I couldn't breathe. And that was the day after I had my C-section for her. So I didn't get to see my oldest for a while after my C-section. but that had nothing to do with like the birth. So yeah. But yeah, that's about it. It's a lot shorter because it's a lot less traumatic. I don't, aside from the female OB being a complete bitch, I would actually say that my labor was fine. Same with my delivery. I don't really have any trauma aside from the female OB and me not trusting them at all. I would consider my second labor and birth to be way better than my first, mostly because it wasn't an emergency. Like, it wasn't like stressful or scary or anything like that. As much as it was hard to have her in the NICU, I was just happy she was safe and somewhere they could help her. So while rough, I was just happy she could be safe. But yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that is.